Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we break down all of the crypto market. That includes majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Memecoins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss crypto's overnight crash, a busy week for macro coming ahead, and how we are navigating this market volatility. Before we kick things off, I'm going to give a big shout out to our partners over at Yeet. Clemente, give me a little Yeet song. What do we got? Hit me with that Yeet.
Yo, way to put me on the spot, Ray.
Yeah,
not even a warning beforehand, dude.
No, absolutely. I want that Yeet freestyle again.
You didn't even ask me how I was doing.
Nope, we're going right into it. We're firing off this Monday. Market's down.
I mean, dude, I don't freaking know, man. Oh, my God. Ray, I don't know, dude. Yo, do some of that crazy shit again, right?
Do some of that crazy
shit. Damn, dude. Yo, guys, I'm sorry. You know, sometimes... Come back to me, Ray. Give me 2 minutes.
I'm a little upset, honestly, because normally you bring that energy early on a down market, and today just not happening. Just not happening at all. I thought I'd be able to throw over there. I thought we are gonna get 100% energy. It's all good. It's all good. I'll cover it. I'll cover it. I'll hold the slack ups, Clemente. Hey, if you're not signed up for yet, I'm gonna give Clemente a little bit of time here because we're gonna talk some specifics. You're gonna want to go to bodoggos.com/eat, sign up. We're giving away a ton of money over the next month. We have 2K to give away from last week. We're going to give that away on Easy Stream tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. If you've done volume on their platform, if you want to be eligible for this giveaway, you need to be watching Easy Stream tomorrow at 8 a.m. That's going to make it a very good chance of you winning because not everyone who's done volume is going to be there. So be there bright and early, chance to win, 2K, nice and easy. If you're not signed up for Yeet, I don't know what you're doing. KBM, co-founder of Yeet, basically saying here 40% of the airdrop going to the community and asking you, why aren't you farming it? 40% of an airdrop is a huge cut. Tons of people are out here doing it. You see a lot of smart people in the space. You got Legendary over from the Modern Market crew doing his limbo thing. I see ICO Beast has been farming it, getting on that leaderboard as well. If you are not farming Yeet, you might be missing out on a potentially juicy airdrop. And if you're going to be doing it, do it with our code.
40%. I mean, you cannot pass that up, folks. You cannot pass that up. Ray, look, let's start. We need to start over. Okay.
Okay.
You know what happened there? You caught me off guard. I'm a man of routine. I'm used to intro. How are you doing? Throw over to our partner of the day, and you threw me off.
Yeah.
You know,
I was thinking, in my head, I said, I might throw Clemente off, but you know what? He'll adapt.
It's like saying, Usain Bolt does not start running right away. He doesn't go full speed. No, he does a couple warm-up sprints. Ooh. You see now? Now I'm ready again. Boom. Ooh. Freaking ready. Yeah, I could hit you with a song if I whatever you want now, Ray, I'll give it to you. Whatever you want.
You want that song? I'll drop a beat.
No, I got my own beat, Ray. I got my own beat. Let me know if you can hear this. Reflective of this.
Yep, we got it.
You're so fucking special. I wish I was special.
The market is dumping. I'm losing my money. I go on Yeet to make back my money.
Get the next one.
40% of the supply is getting a hair dropped. I'm always on Yeet now to make back my loss. We're giving back money through Bodoggo's code. All right, I'm done. I got locked in the end there.
I'm gonna Yeet. Love it. There we go. How you doing today? How you feeling? We're gonna get back to a little bit of routine here. Sig, it's been a week. How you doing today?
Oh man, I'm so happy you kicked off Clemente. Clemente, I love it, man. You always bring the vibes. It is really not easy to be able to just come up with your own lyrics on the fly, somehow have a sponsor in there with a bit about the market talk. Look, mate, props to you. You are doing so well. No, I love it. Can we make requests for the rest of the week? Clemente, can I make requests for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna send you some requests, and I'm hoping you put them in tomorrow, man, because that was top. That was absolutely top. I'm feeling good, Ray. Honestly, I'm feeling good. It's this has been the most interesting August in about 3 years. This has been the most interesting August since 2021. I'm telling you now. I am loving this sideways chop. Clemente was asking, does the whole of finance go on holiday in July and August? I can guarantee you the answer is yes. Over in Europe, the answer is yes. Not so much July, but definitely August. Like Americans, just don't send us emails. We will respond to you in September because we're in Ibiza, we're in Mykonos, we're in the south of France. We're out here having our holidays. Well, you guys go 24/7, you go hard. I appreciate. That's why you have the biggest global economy. That's why people like Clemente, they're doing their thing, they're grinding in August, but we are all in August over here. Just want to tell you that now, Clemente. Don't bother coming over here unless you're taking holidays.
Yeah, everyone that I know in finance is doing nothing right now. They're in Ibiza. They're in islands I've never heard of before. Saint Tropez. One of them's in
That
Tokyo.
is correct.
Tokyo. What's going on?
Tokyo.
Yeah.
Tokyo. No, the only place to be in the summer is Europe. Tokyo is hot right now, like hot, hot, hot. My Japanese friends are like, don't go to Tokyo. That is not the place to be going right now. You need to be in islands that you mispronounce, such as Saint-Tropez and Ibiza. Welcome. That is going to be my little French accent for Clemente to come. No, you need to come over as well, because I feel like the only time you've been to sort of like Europe, apart from London, you all unanimously agreed that the other places were awful. So I feel like that would be a chance for you to be able to find some really cool places over August. So next year, Clemente, come, or come this week, come next week.
I'm down. I'm down. I need to get out of Miami. It was so hot yesterday. I got sunburnt. I went out on the boat. I was sunburnt. It hurt to shower. I usually don't get sunburnt. As a brownie, usually I go in. Never need to do the banana hammock sunburn. What do they call the sunscreen you guys wear?
Definitely banana hammock.
Anyway,
Sig, we'll kick the show off with a little weather report action before we dive into it whenever you are ready.
Yeah, let's get ready on Monday, 18th August. Ray, if you've got that music, you can hit it because I'm having to do traditional here. So Monday, August 18th, looking at that crypto roundup, the majors, they just crashed overnight with Bitcoin just over 115K, Ethereum over 4,300, Solana at 182, and Hype, it's just doing its crab walking, coming down to $43. Over the weekend, top three stories. Well, firstly, Trump had a self-described successful meeting with Putin in Alaska on Friday to help broker peace between Russia and Ukraine. The odds of a Zelensky-Putin meeting this year have surged to 46% on the prediction market. Next up, Story co-founder. This was all over the timeline on the weekend. The co-founder, Jason Zaho, stepped down from his role just 6 months after the IPTGE. Coincidentally, he also had a 6-month cliff on his token allocation. He will go on to spearhead the Poseidon AI startup, which he will receive funding from Story Protocol. Love it. Finally, we have a major lineup of macro events this week, including the Zelensky-Trump meeting today, PMI data on Wednesday, and Jerome Powell speaking at the famous Jackson Hole on Friday. That is all for the weather report. It is back to you folks in the studio.
Excellent weather report as always, Signal. Lots to unpack here.
To that music just coming at the end.
We did not hear the music at all, Ray. We didn't hear at all. And then it comes back at the very end so loud. I don't even want to know what the Twitter space was hearing.
The music was on low like the whole time. I wanted to like do like a little outro with it. I like turned it up a little bit and it went like way too far. Yeah, Ellie. Oh, there was music. So this Story Protocol thing's pretty wild. Did you see this one picked up over the weekend, Clemente? Any thoughts here?
I did. I did not know. So can you go back to that Story Protocol? Can you zoom in a little bit? So this is the co-founder of Story Protocol, a blockchain that I would say most people on crypto Twitter did not know what it did. It's the IP token, although they airdropped Kaido Yabbers like $800, so it was pretty cool. That's the only thing I know about them. And people for a while were like, what the hell are these guys doing? And this co-founder, 6 months after the TGE, is leaving. And basically what everyone is up in arms about is like, you took this thing to TGE and you leave right after, like your thing already didn't do anything, and now you're just leaving after milking it. So the narrative, I guess, and then can you go down? So he's starting something new, Jason, the co-founder, and I believe Story Protocol is funding it.
And as I embark on my next venture, I won't be going far, as Story plans to partner and invest.
It's just a weird message because there was no message from the Story Protocol account. There wasn't really a lot of messaging from the co-founders, the other co-founders. There was no one on the team that really gave a lot of messaging. And can you go down? When did he announce this? Like, it was just he announced it on like Friday night, right? Or Saturday.
Midnight.
He announced it Friday at midnight. That's just like a weird thing to do. Why would you not announce it? So it seemed all very peculiar. And when you stack that on top of the fact that no one actually knows what Story Protocol necessarily does, it feels weird.
Easy. Welcome. How you doing over there?
I'm alive.
What's the status?
The walls are still wet, so we got fans running. But it was the AC, which is a better thing than the plumbing.
That's really good.
Yeah, much better. I mean, the office is still fucked. There's no floor. There's no wall. Yeah, I'm working out of the fucking kitchen. Yeah.
Oh man. So how about this Story Protocol founder? I mean, this is honestly, like, I don't know much about Story. The whole thing just kind of felt like either I completely missed the plot or there was like a ton of like crime here, because this thing like TGE'd. I believe they were on Kaido and they like ran up to a very high valuation. Like this is like not a low cap company by any means. Like they're currently trading, the IP tokens trading at a $1.7 billion circulating market cap right now.
Circulating?
Yeah, 5.7 FDV.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got airdropped some of this token and sold it like way too early. I was like,
so you're part of the problem.
Who's going to use like an IP focused blockchain? Like it's just like a weird thing because there really hasn't even been much use case for IP and NFTs at this point. And yeah, I mean, that's what they're building. We looked at this when they launched. Like we looked at this on the show when they launched, when we got this airdrop from Kaido.
Yeah, I remember I was a fan.
I think you were a fan. You were like, okay, well, what NFTs can I buy on this thing? Like, I don't even know we could find NFTs on here. Like it's like an IP like blockchain, and there's no links to IP on the main page. It's like weird to me. It's like, hey, buy the token is like the only call to action I'm seeing here.
Well, suspicious, Ray. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. I mean, it's pretty odd timing. And then he's going to get more funding from the protocol as well. In other news, we talked about macro events this week. Easy. I heard you talking a little bit about them on your show this morning. We have a number of different big macro events for this week. Is there anything you have your eye on? Do any of these matter more than others? What are your thoughts going into this week?
Friday is the big day. You have Jackson Hole, which is like a place where all the bigwig politician people are going to be talking TradFi stuff, all this other shit. They'll be there yapping it up. And if JPOW comes in and says that the numbers from the job stuff, PPI, CPI, all that stuff are higher than what we want or whatever it is, then we won't get the rate cut. I think Polymarket's still basically pricing in a pretty substantial rate cut. Same with FedWatch for September. But JPOW could really nuke all of that. Yeah, I mean, we're 71% right now, so it's down. 26% for no change. FedWatch has us at an 85%. Yeah, Polymarket's a little bit high. FedWatch is the one that's actually more accurate, in my opinion. They're at 85% for a rate cut, 15% chance of no change.
Damn, 26. That went up a ton. Nothing.
Yeah,
what?
2x.
I mean, I guess
it did a 2x.
I guess we had the PPI, which threw people off, but the PPI could, potentially like. I mean, that's like the third most important metric behind jobs and CPI. And like,
And jobs
people
got
say-
completely revised. So like, I don't know. FedWatch has this price at 85% that will get the cut. Friday, I think, is going to be the big swing like potential change. 15% for no change, 85 for an ease. And then for October, it's pricing in 45% chance at a second cut, 47% chance at the current cut, which obviously that'll skew depending on how September goes. And then December is pricing us at 47% for that 2 cut, 36% for a third cut, 15% for 1 cut, and 1% for flat. So 1% no cut through December, at least 1 cut, 15%, at least 2 cuts, 47%, and 3 cuts at 36%. So the market is still pricing in some pretty substantial rate cuts.
Interesting.
I think it's going to be really interesting on Friday, though, because what we're looking for is his language. Because usually at Jackson Hole, it's an opportunity for him to change his viewpoint. So historically, what has happened is that at Jackson Hole, I think it was last year, it was the whole speech about we're going to we're going to aggressively attack inflation. And I think the year before that was when we're going to aggressively be cutting rates. So you normally get strong language around a specific point of view. I think it will be really interesting going into Friday to see what language he's going to use. And I don't know about you, Easy, but I've taken a bet on Polymarket, and I don't think there's going to be a cut in September. That is not the consensus view. Whether you look at Polymarket or you look at CT, most people think that there is going to be a cut. I just feel like what the media has been pushing at the moment is specifically what has been coming out of Trump's side of the administration, when they are actually calling for specific numbers. Like there should be a 50, like the Treasury Secretary saying there should be a 50 basis point cut. That is very unusual because those two parties are independent, and it should be coming out of the Fed's mouth what action they're going to take. So I just feel like there's been too much. There's going to be a cut. There's going to be a cut. But who is saying it? Like who has been saying there's going to be a cut? CT and the CT, the Treasury Secretary, and Trump. And
Well,
those
Scott
are not
Bessent
the people
said it
who.
too.
That's a
Scott
treasure.
Bessent was like,
That's the
Yeah.
Treasury Secretary, right? But like my point is no one out of the Federal Reserve is really saying anything and giving a clear point of view.
They don't.
So I took
though,
a bet on
is kind of the
Polymarket.
thing. I was
Yeah,
just going to say real
exactly.
quick, they don't, but the Fed watch is the one data metric I actually care about, because that's like the actual financial services is like the one dictating a lot of that guidance. So like I like the Polymarket bet for no cut, especially at these price points, especially if you got it at 12, you're already up 2x. But Polymarket is actually pricing in a higher chance of no cut than FedWatch is, and FedWatch updates every day. So like that's the CME group that actually drives that, which is like outside of CT. It's purely financial services. Bloomberg and everyone else kind of watches that. That's the one that really matters. Like who cares what CT says? But they did it. They had a 99% chance up until PPI, and now this has dropped 15%, 14%. It is slowly trending down while the no cut is slowly grinding up, which is something that you do want to be conscious of. But I still like the fact of the matter is, despite this sell off, and a lot of people like, okay, do we not get a cut? Do we not get a cut? I look towards the year end, which is like more interesting to me, is the December and how the Fed's looking at end of year. And the fact that they're pricing in 2 to 3 cuts at a 83% chance is crazy, because there's only 3 meetings left. And they're pricing in 83% chance we have at least 2 cuts, if not 3 cuts. And I'm like, okay, so they're still leaning pretty hard towards the cut side. And October is pricing us at least 1 cut through October at 93% still. So September's up in the air, but then it comes down to, okay, if September's up in the air, you have October basically guaranteeing a cut, even if September doesn't happen. And December, like almost hard guaranteeing 2 cuts going into next year. Which, truthfully, that makes me lean that we probably top Q4 this year, because once the cuts happen, you tend to see some level of sell-off. And maybe a lot of people are like, oh, tops Q4, which in my gut tells me then we probably end up getting a hated rally through Q1, catching a lot of the people who sold early to buy back in before we really top end of Q1, start of Q2 next year, and just kind of chop for a while following. Because once you get all these cuts, it's going to take a while for the market to kind of shift and for stuff to like come down hard enough that people start being able to deploy capital again.
Yeah, and I think also as well, as we get closer to September rate cuts, there's going to be opportunities to position yourself for specific trades that you want to do. I don't know yet. I haven't quite wrapped my head around what, apart from take profit in August, whilst we're still at good levels, I haven't quite wrapped my head around what is the trade that I will take in September, because there's uncertainty. Because I like that people don't know what's going to happen. I like that you have a disproportionately larger percentage thinking that a trade will happen because essentially what the media is pushing, versus what Powell has historically done, where he's just looked at lagged data and taken a point of view from that. In fact, Greenspan was the one who was thought of as like the forward-looking guy, and he's the guy who looks forward, and Powell is sort of thought as a person who looks backwards. And I'm betting on he's going to continue to look backwards, which is why I think there won't be a rate cut, because he's using lag data, and I think you can make some interesting opportunities out of that.
Yeah, one thing also is like if this PPI data like is sticky, it tends to be more volatile. Like PPI could really flip month to month when we get this data. But if it is sticky, it generally leads CPI. So like if we get a very bad CPI print next month, we could have issues with a rate cut in October as well. So like I don't think we're anywhere out of the water with these rate cuts. I mean, we have to see what the data says essentially. And he's always been following data. It seems like there's no chance he's backing down to pressure from Trump or Bessent calling for these cuts and like trying to like work around the system by putting pressure on him through, like, if you remember him touring the building with Powell, trying to say like they spent too much money and they're gonna like basically like legislate to get Powell out of there. Like he says like, yeah, do your best. I'm not leaving. I'm not cutting rates. So I think it's all going to be data dependent. So we're going to have like these periods of uncertainty leading up to these data announcements. And we're going to then have periods of either, reaction afterwards. And this week's a period of uncertainty. So like, I don't know how I'm trading this week. Easy. I'm curious if you're doing much trading this week, because Jackson Hole's on Friday. That's multiple days away. Like the only thing in the middle that I can see really kind of pushing markets either way is this meeting between Trump and Putin, or not Trump, Putin, Trump and Zelensky today.
So
yeah,
I mean,
progress.
His comments recently about how Zelensky could end the war immediately is like kind of concerning, because I don't think it's going to go out that easy. You have July's Fed meeting minutes coming out Wednesday, so people are going to try to read into that. That usually is pretty low as far as like action that occurs. You have PMI data Thursday as well, and home sales. So if home sales are declining, it's going to show a lag in the housing market, which I think we do get. I think PMI data, which is the manufacturing data, is going to be lower because of tariffs, which have been kind of in play. So both of those coming in lower could help signal that the cut's going to happen. But then you obviously have Jackson Hole on Friday. For me, I share every Sunday night after futures open in the Discord what my trades are. And I outlined the shorts last night. I put long and short positions and where I want to go long or short. And we caught the entire short move last night, the whole thing, like a 5% drawdown across Sol, Bitcoin, and ETH. And it shockingly did bounce where I thought it might. So I'm like kind of fine not trading perps. I hit my target this week last night, which I was like fine with. Like, especially right now, I've lowered my perps account substantially, and I'm trying to trade like low account balance back up, just like purely for like a mental test while we're chopping right now. And September historically is not positive price action for Bitcoin. So I've like really shifted a lot towards LPing and finding some alternative plays. I've been trading this like Litecoin, the Heaven Dex thing. I mean, it just made a new all-time high as well. So like there's still opportunity, but I would rather be like looking elsewhere and finding just stuff that I don't have to watch the charts as aggressively and can still make decent money on. Like the last 48 hours, I think I'm printing like $1,100 in 48 hours off of fees. So I'm like fine doing that and just taking my trades off my charts very, very consciously. The one saving grace is the Chainlink chart, truthfully, because that thing just looks unreal. Like Chainlink looks so strong, which I'm like, okay, if this keeps pushing, I think we get a 4x out of that personally. But yeah, you have the chart up. Go look at the bottom for that annualized return. So minus 3.7% average, minus 4.3% median. But then look what it sets up for in October.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's what people call a ghost month, because August is usually the biggest month for TradFi to go on vacation and leave their desk. September, they come back, and then deal flow really starts to ramp for end of the year, October, November, before vacation again in December. So yeah, this is historically the worst month for Bitcoin, which is
honestly
September.
the only month that has an average in the negatives. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess June is like slightly negative, 0.14% negative, but minus 3.77% on average for September. Outside of that, and June being basically even, everything else is a positive month. If you're to be trading this, it says like, hey, sell off some of your positions in August if you get pumps. If we do get a pump, like, and like we get euphoric coming back to all-time highs, maybe take some off the table to hold and dry powder to redeploy in September. You can chop yourself out of the market. I mean, spot and hold is
I think
probably
you
always
just
the best strategy.
call
but-
me crazy. I think you don't do anything. Like, I think you just wait. Like, because I do think the end of the year is going to have that like euphoria. Like, personally, I think rate cuts are going to start, and then everyone knows we're going to get at least one cut this year. If we don't get a cut this year, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath through the rest of the year, and then we'll get a cut next year. So, like, for me, I would rather be sitting in positions with no leverage and comfortably flat and trading just like very tight ranges to try to catch some of these other moves. Like, that's kind of where my head goes here, which is why like I've been much more focused on liquidity providing for like tokens that are high volume, because like there's stuff that you can find that'll outpace the underlying. Or like on that Project X stuff, you can trade kinetic hype, which should theoretically always be in range, and you just have a hype position. So there's stuff like that where I'd rather be holding spot bags and putting them to work so that I can compound and continue to stack them as price fluctuates down versus chasing stuff right now. Like, if you can be early to a narrative, you're in a great position, and you can find stuff that will outpace. I do think there is situations where like you shouldn't be hyper aggressively chasing stuff. I like this 10K challenge me and Clemente have, because it almost is like tracking where the market is feeling, like how risk on is this market right now, with Clemente fully in memes and me fully in alts. Like,
I flipped you. Easy. I flipped you yesterday, and that was the local top for memes.
Yeah. You flipped me yesterday for 43 minutes. Somebody posted and said 43-minute update and posted, and I was back above you. Yesterday was the first time we both were in the green, though. So that feels good. Like, I was like, okay, so there's something here. I mean, your Uranus bag is up. The tough part for you is you can't rotate out. Like, that is the hard part for you, because all 5 of your memes have been over the 2K balance at some point. Every single one of them at some point, I think except Troll, has been over that 2K buy.
Troll's
Every
green
single
today.
Yeah, but it wasn't over its 2K balance. Like, this, every one of these we put 2K into, is what I'm saying. So like Docker was up to 2,200 at one point. God was up there. Tokabu was at 2,400 at one point. So for me, like, Athena's been the one dragging me down. Pump yesterday or 2 days ago was at like 2,400. So the inability for us to rotate, I think, is going to be our downfall on this, especially if we do get like a pretty large sell-off. And dude, if alts sell off, memes are going to sell off, especially quote like the long-term hold memes.
I'm amazed that actually, so this has been going on for like, it was 1 week ago you guys started this, and I'm amazed that the total change on Easy's portfolio is only 4.5% versus Clemente's almost 9%. That 5% difference is insane, because like normally when we see a sell-off in the markets, you would expect that alts and meme coins would go down a lot more. And for 1 week performance, this is really, really good. So I'm really curious where you guys will be at the end of this 30-day challenge. I expected that Clemente would have lost more money by now in a downward trend in this market. Not because you're bad at trading, Clemente, just because memes are going to sell off, right? They're either going to go up or they're going to go down. But I would expected them to have gone down a lot more. So it could be that Easy wins, but then how much of a margin does he win by? And if he does win, is he winning? Is he winning, but the portfolio is still down? So you both your portfolios are down, but yours is only down 5 or 6% more. That's the interesting part about this challenge, is that Easy, just because Easy wins doesn't mean he wins and is in the green.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's like it was better to just hold alts versus hold memes, because you didn't lose as much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like almost interested if we could get like one that's like, what if you just put 10K into Bitcoin as like the baseline? Like, what if you just held Bitcoin? Like, we just slap Pio's name on there.
Who's building this? They don't even
Um,
include their name on Twitter. You got to put your Twitter link in here. Get a little extra, little juice there. Drop a little Twitter link if you made this. I remember somebody sharing it. I just don't remember who it was. I want to give them credit. a really cool dashboard. Easy,
Natty
you
Light.
mentioned
Natty Light
Yeah.
is his name.
Natty Light. I saw you mention Pump. Easy. I've seen a lot of talk about Pump and the Pump token, mainly comparing it to Hyperliquid, as Pump flipped Hyperliquid in fees briefly over the weekend. Hyperliquid outpacing again, but looking at like the FTV of Pump versus Hyperliquid, does it seem like there's like a mispricing of the Pump token at this point?
Yes. Yeah. I think so. I think Pump should be closer to like $5 or $6 billion.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Hype, and Hype is sitting at 14 bill market cap. Pump is at what are we at? 3 bill FTV right now. Much less circulating.
I bought some.
I'm selling it. No, Pump's overvalued.
I actually hate that I bought it. I hate Pump so much because I've lost money on it every time I buy it. I think they are going to continue to go up. I almost am like, is this just a better hold than Solana?
Well, it's not that it's a better hold than Solana. The way I'm looking at it is that if you want meme coin exposure without having to be in individual tokens, this is the way to express it. Because you kind of have to think about your time, right? Do you have time to be in the trenches chasing individual tokens, or can you just express that I want exposure to the meme coin sector and I'm going to do it through Pump.fun? And Pump and Bonk are going to be the two that represent how to have meme coin exposure. But then you don't have to be in the trenches. For me, this is and this is going off your thesis, Clemente, that if you think that there's going to be a meme coin season in a way that we haven't seen before, and that means printing fees, this is the most obvious trade to do if you think it's coming back.
Yes.
I'm going to take the other side here on the Pump and Hype comparisons. I think that they're properly priced. If not, Hype should be have even more of a gap between 4x Pump, because I think that the total addressable market for perps trading is higher than meme coin trading. I think that meme coin traders can convert to perps traders more likely than the other way around. And I think that fee dominance by Pump Fund isn't sticky. Like we saw other Launchpads take that fee dominance for periods of time. So while Pump may have like very high like ceiling fees, their floor is what we saw 2 weeks ago when they only had 10% market share. So like they need to not only be buying back their token, but they need to be providing incentives for people to use their platform. Whereas Hyperliquid doesn't need to provide incentives for people to use their platform. They just need to essentially like they have the sticky moat of liquidity there already. They just need to be buying back their tokens. So the pool of cash that they're operating with and where they need to deploy it, I feel like it just makes more sense for Hype at this point. And I understand why it's at a 4x valuation of Pump, in my opinion.
But Ray, would you say the reason why they have that sticky liquidity is also because of the upcoming airdrop? That's why people are farming Hyper EVM and are doing all these individual platforms. Otherwise, why would that capital be sitting there?
Easy. If there was no airdrop for Hype, would you have done any changes in trading over the last month?
No.
There's
No.
your answer, Sig.
Well, Joe
Okay,
McCann
but would you
answer
be doing liquidity providing across all of these platforms if you didn't think there was an upcoming TGE? Sorry, an upcoming
Yeah.
airdrop.
That's different. Yeah, that's different though. So I'm saying
Yeah.
like Hype is different than those because it's just the best platform for perps. It's not like, hey, we're doing this because we're looking for future rewards. We're doing it because it's the best way to make those trades.
It's the best
But
order book. Like,
Right. The Hype's market cap is 13x Pump Funds.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm looking at
I'm not-
FTV. Yeah.
it's too high.
I mean, look, I think Pump and you guys know how much I don't like Pump historically. They've made it clear they will crime their tokens. They like that it's a different game now. It's not about who spins up the most tokens. It's not about who can get the most graduations on a single day. That's part of the game. The game is now, how can you pump a token from 1 million to 500 million? How many runners can you create? Because you get way more money through your swaps on that. That is the best way to make money. So if you take a tokens launch stream and Launchpad, can you give me a clear path to go from point A to point B? that's the game to be playing now. And I think that's how memes are going to be played. And that's why I'm positioned in the way that I am with meme coins right now. It's no longer a meme coin launchpad. It's a meme coin incubator, in my opinion. So I think Pump is well positioned for that. If I'm being honest, I've heard news and rumors that they are speaking to a bunch of different meme coin teams to collaborate with them. They're funding new initiatives for marketing of these tokens. They're talking to tokens. They're the runners of their platforms and trying to figure out ways to help them pump more and get more exposure.
No, I 100% agree. I just think that they have to do that, and they have to buy their token, and they have to, like, there's a couple different things they have to do, and they're having like competition across multiple platforms. There's just not a ton of like stickiness and moat to the platform. We just lost Easy and Clemente. Both just got up from their computers.
No,
Look at
it's
this,
fine.
just absolute disrespect here. I got to refute their point. And they're both just like, see ya later. Unreal.
They're just like, I'm done. I'm done.
They're not even
But,
listening to it. They're like, all right, yeah, you're an idiot.
No,
No, but what I'm saying is like any other launchpad can come back and like take. There is no moat for Pump Fund. The moat is like them doing the crime to pump tokens, quote unquote crime. And
the moat is, do they have money?
In addition to buying their token.
Their moat is they have $2 billion. That's their moat. And that they have more resources to help teams. Like, okay, Pump Fund could burn $100 million working with all of these tokens to try to get as many of them to run to 100 million, 250, 500, etc. That's their moat. And again, I say this with a belief, like I'm not a huge fan of how Alan or Alon communicates. I don't like his communication style at all. I think he has a really big ego. But I'm with that being said, I think he's Pump Fund is going to be successful, and they have the resources to tap into the social media stuff. They're building more of like a tech integration. They're pushing their mobile app. They're going to make a big push in general. I think, like I've been saying, there's going to be a massive meme coin season once again, but it's not going to come from these like bullshit random runners. Now it's going to be more of an institutional. Before it was influencers pushing these coins. It's now turning into institutions, meaning the launch pads, pushing these coins and bidding them, holding them with size. What happened last November was you had all these guys. Frank D. Gods was making $1 million on a coin in 48 hours. That's insane. Now, instead, you're having Pump Fund going, not only are we not going to sell on you, we're going to bid $1 million into this chart, and we're going to shill it, and we're going to work with the project to help them get more exposure. That's a completely different scenario. And people are still thinking that we're in this November 2024 landscape where it's completely changed, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. 100%
Real quick,
agree.
Clemente, I like what you're saying here. I just want to add this real quick. I like what you're saying on this, but this is also why I know it's like the Launchpad wars, etc. This is why I've been following this Heav Index thing so closely, because what you're talking about here is basically the flywheel that they're putting in real time too. So they're like buying back almost all of their fees, just go back into the token. They've already burned 2% of the supply for this Heaven thing. And you can see it on the chart. Like this is the chart. If we go to the 4 hour, it's literally just up only on this. So like you're emphasizing here the pump ecosystem, buying back and doing a ton of these buybacks, which I do completely agree with, and I do think is going to continue to scale. And I think a lot of their runners are also on that forefront. But it's why like I'm also playing the game with some of these other ones who have much smaller market caps and can do this in a similar way. So like even this, they announced this, where is it? Right here, Starseed, which is where they're just buying back tokens on their Launchpad and their ecosystem. So like I look at this where you have, these fucking dogs. You have Halo, which is their leading one at 7, and Hachi at 3.7, which I'm like very interested in for this ecosystem. Because if they continue to get market share there's going to be a push on this front too, which I'm even more interested in when you look at who's gathering market share and where, and how that's playing into some of these charts. So like even on this, Pump Fund's dominating. Heaven's at 4K, 2.7. So they're still low, but like this dominance by Pump Fund, if this chart starts grinding back up for tokens deployed, volume on the platform, daily graduations, even this, Launchpad volume, real quick. Oops. Yeah, so here. Launchpad volume, we start getting candles like this from the 13th again, it's going to fly. I'm going to deal with this.
Clemente, you want a rebuttal? I'll take the dog.
The dog's barks just are like, oh. But anyway, no, I 1000% agree with Clemente on this point. I think shut up, Ray. I think he has 100% hit the nail on the head. And because of the way Alon communicates as well, this token could just have a hated rally. And I'm not a fan of the pump fund ecosystem. Like I have no skin in the game here. I hold individual tokens. I do not hold their token. But I could totally see a world where they have a hated rally because of how they've operated the company previously. And you just have to look at it as exposure to the meme coin sector, and just having exposure to it and being like, if it does well, it will go up. If it doesn't do well, then everything goes down with the ship. But Clemente, I really like your take. I think it's a very nuanced take, and because you've been in the trenches for so long, you're able to see that evolution of how it started, and now how it's going. So I think personally, Clemente has the best point of view on this.
Yeah, I mean, Easy's going down the risk curve exponentially with like the Heaven deck stuff, and their memes. I think that could be an interesting play as well. Yeah, I mean, I think this is the most excited I've been about meme coins, because I look at the rest of the timeline and everyone's like exhausted with memes. Meanwhile, they're literally, these launch pads are telling you which one to buy, and you're fading it. So yeah, I'm interested in those. But yeah, that's it, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, one more thing is, like you said, they're having $2 billion. Like if meme coins come back and they are a thing, like I imagine that institutional players are going to be jumping into, like a big boy finance company jumping into meme coins has way more than $2 billion to deploy into these incentives, is my thought process. Like
I don't see no Ray. Sorry, so got to come back on that. Like institutional company jumping into meme coins to build the infrastructure. I don't think that's what they're going to go after. Of all the things to go after, I don't believe that is what they'll go after. And I think by the time they've even thought to do that, the sector will have been so successful because they're making that play, that Pump Fund would have an even bigger moat, because they are the incumbent player and they have rallied off that success. Whether that's reflected in the token price or not, that's hearsay. I don't know, but they will go up with their success will be driven from that momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I'm just saying, like, if the market sees that there's money and revenue here, which I think they will long term, like, there's going to be more players. So you need to have a bigger moat than just having the cash to like pump things, because it's clear that they don't have the moat based on the tech and based on like stickiness, because it was able to get taken away from them very quickly for a sustained period of time. We saw. I mean,
from Bonk, there were how many other people that tried to build a token launchpad, and none of them had any success until Bonk came around.
I mean, we saw some success out of Believe and Bags. Bonk was the first one to like.
Bro, Believe with the $360 million market cap without any sort of buyback burn or anything, and they had countless coins that ran upwards of 15, 20 million. Like, you have these things, these blips that happen where it kind of ignites a fire and causes volume to step up and happen. And we actually just got an announcement from Let's Bonk. I don't even know if the announcement's public, but someone was just reading their docs, where if we look at this, Let's Bonk just rolled out a points leaderboard. So this is something that I'm very interested in, because as soon as one platform rolls out a points leaderboard, many times others have to follow, because what this does is it's going to incentivize volume, and you earn points by launching tokens, participating in events, and completing daily challenges. So 3 very straightforward activities. I would also like to see points from a market like market share perspective, points from a Launchpad that go towards volume from traders, because incentivizing volume in the trenches is going to be a big proponent of this. Where if you give points, that usually means rewards. They acknowledge special features and rewards on this. And I think this is a home run. Like, this is something I'm very interested in, purely because as soon as one platform launches points, others are going to follow. You've seen Pump Fund kind of teasing points. I think Bonk kind of front running that here is a great move on their part. They're definitely conscious of the market share perspective and where things have been heading. So I think watching this could lead more into this kind of like whole trenches meta and resurgence of meme season 2.0.
Easy. Do you know as well? So just really quickly, right? Really quickly, Easy. Do you know if Pump Fun is on Robinhood or any of those apps in the US? Because I know Bonk is on Revolut in Europe, but it's on Coinbase. Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's not on Robinhood, but it's on Coinbase.
Okay, cool. No, I was just thinking for retail sake, if people are coming and be like, oh, which one do I jump into? Then you've got Revolut or Coinbase as like two places to get exposure to. Because I remember PO being a massive, massive fan of Bonk. I don't know if he sold his position or not, but that was the reason that I got into Bonk ages ago. And it's actually performed pretty damn well over the past 12 months. It's recovered. So either of these positions for me is just right. That's my meme coin exposure. I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah, just bet on the house. It's just figuring out which house is the right house. You know, like you go to Vegas and you have your favorite casino, and that's essentially what we're doing here.
This is really, I mean, this basically means pump. Bonk has led in every single new add-on to the trenches. They did the creator share, where the dev would get a percentage of the fees. And when they did that, Pump Fund immediately rolled it out. The incentivized pieces now means that I think very soon we'll see Pump Fund have to adapt if Bonk is going to start taking market share from them away. The last thing I'll say that shows the state of the meme coin trenches is look at the Fartcoin chart. The reason why Fartcoin is bleeding so much while a lot of these other newer memes have strength is because Fartcoin was launched pre-Launchpad war. It's not on PumpSwap. It was launched on Pump Fund, but it's not on PumpSwap. So Pump Fund has zero incentive to push it or to bid it. And it's been bleeding. Right? Radium, the swaps are powered on Radium. So Radium gets the fees for this. So there's no real incentive for Pump Fund to push this. Radium doesn't really have any incentive to push it either because it was launched not on Bonk. So this weakness has been the evidence.
Yeah, I mean, it's approaching this level of support / old level of resistance for the, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th time it's tapped off this. We've had a couple failed breakouts. We had a couple successful breakouts. If it breaks below this, I think I'm going to short Fartcoin. Like I was talking about this on the show a week ago when we saw the same thing, but it keeps trying to break below this and it keeps getting held up. But if it does break below, I think there is room to go lower. So I'm going to be looking at a short on Fartcoin, to be honest. I like what you're saying about there really isn't that like Launchpad capital backing it.
Yeah, I mean it's a funny meme, I guess, Fartcoin, but it feels stale. I round tripped the whole thing, by the way. So I still hold it, but I'm like, this is not as fun as it used to be. There's no identity style. There's no identity to it, to Fartcoin, versus there's an identity. Like you look at Troll, you look at SPX, Bonk, you look at all these other memes, it feels like there's that diehard community behind it. Fartcoin, I don't know.
I feel like there's a diehard community behind Fartcoin. You have like Dip Wheeler just doing what he does, dude. Like that's the hard part. Like I feel like Fartcoin is one of like these stronger communities. It's also one of the few coins that's gotten into mainstream attention. Like you have people from Jimmy Fallon, SNL, all that other stuff mentioning it. I feel like Fartcoin just makes a lot of sense.
Like his attempt to draw a cup and handle on Bonk here. That one didn't pan out so hot. Well, yeah, the thing is, like, Fartcoin's decentralized. All these other ones we're talking about, they have centralized entities with funds behind them. Like you're comparing Fartcoin to Bonk or Pump or anything like that. Yeah,
It's
obviously.
too decentralized.
Yeah, there isn't like that backer behind it. I mean, SPX is the same way. I mean, XPX is just as decentralized as Fartcoin, and it has like key man risk as well. Like if Dip Wheeler falls off the face of the earth, Fartcoin's gonna be like probably fine. But if Murad falls off the face of the earth, SPX is going right to zero.
Yeah.
So we'll see there. Wow, we spent the majority of the show talking about Pump Fund and Launchpads. I mean, honestly, there hasn't been too much more news. One thing I do want to bring up though is we had some more buying from Tom Lee. We had news break that he purchased another $1.7 billion worth of ETH last week.
Imagine, Ray, imagine if these guys weren't bidding ETH the way they were or the way they are right now. What would ETH be at? It would be like sub 2K. If they didn't have these guys literally backing up the Brinks truck and infinitely bidding ETH, I think it would still be below 2K.
Yeah, I think we'd be somewhere in this area. This $2,500 area. I think a lot of this move was like repricing because of like the institutional capital coming in and then running to 5%. And I think we see ETH like cool off a bit as they get closer, as Bitmine gets closer and closer to 5%. Like that's their target. And I think they're raising enough capital to kind of get there. They just said they're raising like 24 billion to get there. Obviously, a lot of that has to be like still recognized. It's through at the money or at the market shares. So like people have to purchase them essentially to be able to raise the capital. But they're on their way to 5%. They're on their way there in a hurry. When they get to 5%, that's a good chunk of buy pressure that's like going. So I'll be watching like what their holding is and seeing how ETH is. Like that could end up happening near like what Easy was saying, a Q4 top is like Bitmine gets close to 5% by then. Look to sell off bags at what could be a top.
You know, it's actually an interesting point that Clemente brings up, because if another ETF gets passed for a cryptocurrency or for a basket of cryptocurrencies, you need to run. So just click the buy button as fast as possible, because you know there is going to be some American successful entrepreneur come forward and try to be the Michael Saylor or the Tom Lee version of that currency. And it's just basically going to be an ego war against all these men who are like, I've bought the most of this token. That is 100% going to happen, because in America it's like who is the most successful, who can have who can have the most money, who can have the biggest treasury. And I think like stuff like Solana, where you've just seen it like bounce around that 160, 170, 180, and it's not really doing anything. It's just asking for the next leg up if an ETF is passed or a basket of tokens is passed. That is 100% going to happen.
Yeah. Ray, the only thing that's green on my portfolio today is PO's stock open.
That's
No
real.
wonder
Oh my
you
fucking
shilled-
god, dude.
What's that at? I'm gonna bring that up right now.
It's up
Open.
20% today.
How's it
And the
doing from like
funniest part-
390? We bought it.
Big-
He showed it like 390 on the show. It was like up here.
No, Ray. He shilled it at I'm up 20%.
Oh no. It was Friday, right?
Yeah.
I watched Friday. He was discussing open and the fact that his friend was, who is usually the top signal, was talking about it.
Damn, should have put the down payment on the house right in the open. Yeah, I joked.
My
about
favorite is Pio came on to shill this thing, and then we bought it, and he got pissed. I'm like,
He
what
got
are you-
so
what are you
mad, dude.
supposed to do?
So mad. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? He's like, why the fuck did you buy it? It's like, why did you talk about it?
Yeah, who you sharing it with? He's like, I'm gonna go on Wax and make this call. I'm like, oh, great call. We're gonna buy it. He's like, why'd you buy it, you idiots? All right. Anything else we want to chat about before we wrap? It's hitting 10 o'clock here.
No, that's it, Ray. Good stuff.
All right, we're gonna wrap it. Thank you all for joining. We do this podcast Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on all major podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple. Watch us back on YouTube. See what we're talking about in real time. See our charts. See exactly what we are looking at. Thank you all for listening again. Have a wonderful Tuesday. We